As dawn breaks with 2 drops of gold on the horizon, narrow stone streets lie shrouded in heavy fog. Your footsteps echo against the damp earth as the smell of wet mud mixes with fleeting whiffs of leather and filth, stirring both curiosity and unease in your chest. There is no such thing as an ordinary morning here. In the Middle Ages, whichever calling you chose, each day began with a trial of both body and spirit. Some recoiled in disgust, while others braced themselves for the weight of horrifying tasks. Today, we will unlock the gates to this dark world together. Prepare to meet 5 of the most dreadful trades, each demanding iron will, courage, and a strong stomach. Step by step, we will immerse ourselves in every profession, feeling its sights, sounds, and scents. If you're ready, take your first stride into the reality beyond the mist. Your journey starts at a humble tannery by the riverside, cradling raw hides in your arms. You notice fragments of horn, hoof, and dried blood marring the surface. First, you scrape away the thick grime with a sharp knife, then you plunge the hide into icy river water. As the water seeps into its pores, your fingers grow numb, yet this is only the beginning. When the stench reaches unbearable levels, the hides are cast into fetid pits filled with human urine. A ritual of decay unfolds over weeks. Hairs loosen at the roots, the skin bloats, and a heavy cloud of foul odor surrounds you. Months later, on a chilly morning, you return to the wooden beam to slice away the softened hairs. Each cut reveals supple leather, but each stroke also squeezes your stomach with revulsion. The final step is a test of patience. The hides are buried in vats of urine, water, and crushed bark for a year. Weekly stirring ensures the tannins penetrate deep into the fibers. By year's end, the makeshift shack may resemble a torture chamber, but your labor yields a masterpiece of durable, treated leather. Derailing from the tannery's grime, we now turn toward the towering shadows of the cathedral scaffolding. Amid the chaos of cathedral construction, you find yourself face to face with a massive wooden wheel perched high on the scaffolding. Its diameter rivals that of a house roof, and each step you take powers the lifting of stone blocks by mere inches. Gale force winds and thin air test your balance as you tread on rain-slicked planks. Your hands grip the supporting beams, knuckles white with effort. One moment of hesitation could send the block swinging wildly or trap you between unforgiving cogs. The higher you climb, the fiercer the stakes. Falling hundreds of feet means certain death. Hour after hour, your muscles burn and resolve falters. Yet for every block you hoist skyward, you contribute to the cathedral's grandeur and prove your own limits. Gasping for breath, you feel both triumphant and utterly spent. Now, as the evening shadows gather, they guide you towards the cold embrace of the sewers. When night falls and the town lamps flicker on, you stand at the edge of a gaping sewer pit with trembling hands, clenching a shovel. Methane-laden fumes rise in billowing clouds, making each breath a battle, while every scoop of waste sets your lungs ablaze. Sometimes you work alone, other times alongside young assistants whose faces grow pale at the stench. Carrying a full bucket through narrow lanes tests both strength and dignity. If a helper stumbles, filth cascades over you. Neither bucket nor pride remains intact. Through the long hours until midnight, time dissolves into the flicker of a lone lantern. A daily wage of 6 pence offers little solace to your aching, excrement-caked body. Yet desperation and the lure of coin compel many to lift that cover once more. As night surrenders to dawn's hope, the streets usher you into the grim reality of pestilence. At first light, fog-draped streets lie littered with corpses. When the Black Death struck in 1348, the grim duty of transporting and interring the dead fell to you. Your breath quivers behind a linen mask as each body you load onto the stretcher carries its own tragic tale. During the lime-sprinkling ritual, white dust floats like ghostly motes, hastening decay and masking stench. Layer by layer, you place the bodies into freshly dug mass graves, not as farewells, but as placeholders awaiting the next victim. Days blur into one another, the creak of stretchers, The crackle of lime and the thud of earth mingling form a haunting refrain. Sometimes a familiar face emerges from the pile, twisting grief tighter around your heart. Each burial rips another piece from your spirit. At day's end, only mounded graves remain, an unwelcome testament to human vulnerability and your own unyielding perseverance. Silently, you step toward the next ritual that blends sacred duty with unspeakable dread. You slip into a chamber adjacent to the manor's courtyard where flickering candlelight casts solemn shadows on saintly icons. There, a noble on his deathbed awaits his last rites. Your role: consume a morsel of bread and, through a whispered litany, transfer his sins onto yourself. As you lift the bread to your lips, time seems to slow. With each bite, you embody the departed's darkest secrets. This is more than sustenance, it's a mystical transference of guilt. Incantations linger in the air, heavy with a disquiet that chills the soul. When the ritual concludes, you feel the weight of sins settled upon your shoulders. Villagers regard you with awe and fear, part reverence, part revulsion. Then, in a silent act of exile, you are gently escorted beyond the town's bounds, left alone to navigate bearing sins that are no longer yours. From the shadows of sanctity, we now step into the unflinching realm of execution. Through silent cobblestone lanes, your footsteps echo in lamplit gloom. The air outside the cells weighs heavy with the burden of fate. As executioner, you wield life and death with blade or rope, symbolizing the sharp edge of justice. At dawn, your condemned prisoner is led to the scaffold before a trembling crowd. The verdict becomes flesh in your hands, bound wrists quake, unaware of their final confession. You inhale deeply, steadying yourself before raising your sword or pulling the lever. In that split second, a single motion writes the closing chapter of a life. This grim task may become routine, but with each execution, a small piece of your own humanity is etched away. Blood seeps into your clothes like morning dew, and the rope's weight presses sorrow into your bones. One misstep could haunt you forever. At dusk, you return home unwelcomed. Neither gratitude nor forgiveness greets you. The community that depends on your hand also shuns your presence. The gallows may cool, but the shadow of your duty clings to you like a second skin. Now, having traversed these grim professions, let us reflect on the journey we've taken. Throughout this harrowing odyssey, we've ventured into the darkest trades of the Middle Ages, from the Tannery's fetid vats to the human-powered crane, through the labyrinth of sewage pits, across plague-ridden burial grounds, into the solemn rite of sin-bearing, and finally to the executioner's scaffold. Each vocation demands a blend of courage, endurance, and a willingness to confront humanity's rawest edges. Which of these dreadful duties would you dare to try? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your most imaginative responses might just feature in our next episode. If this grim journey captivated you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We'll uncover more hidden chapters of history in the next installment. Until then, take care and keep exploring the past with us.